Good morning, TGIF. Good Friday morning, everybody. It's me, Mitch, and welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch. And as we pile in, drink it if you got it, and I hope you got it. I hope you got it this morning. Yes, and I never plugged my merch, but you can get your very own Morning Coffee with Mitch coffee cup if you don't already have one. Link is in the description of this video. Also, the link to my t-shirts and that other stuff. I guess if I don't plug this stuff, nobody else will. Oh, I screwed up last night and forgot. I was so tired yesterday. I did the private community live stream last night. And I, earlier in the day, had said to myself, well, after I get done with that, so as not to confuse things with the morning live stream, I'll create the video for, placeholder for this morning. And I was so tired when I got done with the private community, I just went to bed. And I woke up this morning early and I didn't realize it wasn't up there. And I was watching YouTube on the TV. Usually my live stream comes up in my feed. I didn't see it. So where's my live stream? Sure enough, I never created it. So I finally got to it about 8:30 this morning. So all of you who like to chat early, sorry I took that away from you. Next Thursday night, I'll create this thing ahead of time. I think it wouldn't create too much confusion. It is what it is, but we're here. We're here. And people are starting to come in. Good to see you all. Good to see you all today. I have an announcement to make. I have an announcement. Today, even after it took me a while to figure out what day it was this morning, and after I went ahead and originally had it saying Friday, May the 1st, then realized that was wrong, corrected everything both on Rumble and YouTube, not only the thumbnail, but the description. We finally got it settled. Hope there was no confusion there. But May the 2nd today. My birthday's coming up. My daughter's birthday is May the 4th. I know so many people have told me about their first week in May birthdays. I don't remember them all. I know Aaron, Booby Goats, is coming up on the 6th. Mine's coming up on the 7th. And as I've been doing every year, way back since in 2018, when I started this channel as a drone channel, I have an online birthday celebration. And that's me. That's me. Hiding behind the cupcake. No room for 78 candles. But Wednesday, May the 7th, 7 p.m., I'm having a birthday party and everybody's invited. We're going to open it up. We're going to have a panel. We're going to have people coming and going. And I hope people will get over being gun shy. And if you can figure out how to do it, there'll be links in the description and links I'll be putting them up in the chat to come on and say hi, wish me happy birthday, tell us if it's your birthday, let us get to meet you and see you guys and put a face with the names of people who have become our friends. Our friends. Tanya says, is that blueberry icing? I don't know. I never tasted it. But blueberry ice cream would look more purple than that. I don't know what for. I always wondered about that, Tanya. Swallow the coffee, Mitch. Don't try to breathe it. I think it might have been George Carlin or some other comedian made an observation once that said, there is no blue food. And even blueberries are purple. So I don't know what kind of icing that is, but in looking for a graphic to use for that, that was the closest that I found. Oh, wow. And I definitely tried to breathe a gulp of coffee there. Tori Sue says it's blueberry. At any rate, we're going to have some fun. I hope you all can make it. I'm going to create the video for those days in advance. So it'll be up there. It should show up in everybody's feed. And I'm hoping to see a big turnout. After the health scare I had and what I'm going through now, this is to make it to this birthday, which I've been anticipating for quite a while, is more significant to me than it otherwise would have been. So come and help me. Come and help me celebrate it. Thank you. That would be great. And that was the thumbnail you'll see in YouTube. So here we are. Here we are, giving you a chance to get in here. We got 100 of you. Great, great. Okay, we have a quorum. Now we can get started. Wanted to share something else that was funny. I shared it last night on the private community live stream. My son sent me this. I just thought it was funny. It's a real picture. A real picture from a grocery store somewhere. That was the real label that was on it. And it says, imitation snow crab legs, wild caught. Now, anybody else think that that's kind of a contradiction there? And then I started to think about it, and I said, well, could happen. It could actually be true, although who would think this way? All that imitation crab meat that they have is real fish. It's made of generally a fish called pollock, if you've heard of that. And it may very well be that the pollock that was used to make these imitation crab legs was indeed wild caught. But that doesn't take away from the nonsense. It reminded me of the label on Sam's Club pasture-raised eggs, where it says 100% vegetarian fed. Those two things cannot coexist. You can't have a pasture-raised chicken who doesn't eat worms and grubs and other animal products that it pecks out of the ground. It's impossible. But yet they continually label all of these things that we eat with bullshit contradictions in the name of marketing and telling people in their brainwashed minds exactly what they think they want to hear in order to get them to buy the stuff. We have a problem, Houston. We have a big problem. But I thought that was funny. My son thought it was funny. The guys last night thought it was funny. So I thought that you would think it's funny. All right, let's see what we got here. Got all kinds of chat. Wow, 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 wow. Okay, first in, and it was this morning at 8:40, which is about the first opportunity that you might have had. Keto Mama says Pollock playing dress up. Yeah. Yeah, we've all had that imitation crab meat at one point or another. But God knows what the flavoring they use to give it that so-called crab meat flavor. One would wonder whether that's very bad for you as well. Seems like anytime they put anything into the food, they end up screwing it up. I said hi to Patty and Mike Seeley Sr.'s here. Beautiful morning in Melbourne, and it is. And boy, pray for rain. We're supposed to get rain tomorrow. And God, do we need it. God, do we need rain. So let's hope. Let's hope. Tanya's here, Kitchen Witch. Going to be a good day. Coffee with Mitch. Thank you. Thank you, Tanya. Sandy Blythe. Yay. Morning, Sir Mitch. Sybil 5 or Sybil V. One or the other is here. Good morning, everyone. Jerry Graham, how you doing? Jerry, good to see you. And Smoothie 420. Wishes everybody a happy Friday. CB is here. Sheriff Carmack, how are you? My friend, good to see you. Tammy Batarch, all the regulars are here. Good morning to the Misfits. Bob Black is here. Booby Goats, another upcoming birthday girl. And Richard Williams. Good morning from Copper Hill, Tennessee. Good morning, Richard. How the hell are you? Chris Swain. And I believe Chris is from down under, if I'm not mistaken. So good evening to you, if I'm correct. And Jiffy's here. Good morning to everybody. Couch Potato, thumbs up. Gary, good morning, Gary. No Slow, how you doing? And here we have Francine Bourgeois, TGIF. Hello to everybody. Hi, Francine. How are you? How are you doing? And Marla Kelly is here. Good to see you. And Terry Sue. Hi, Terry. Good to see you this Friday morning. Harry Dion is here. Hi, Harry. Lizzie's with us. Here's what I don't recognize. Bayman Golf. Welcome. Glad you found us. Good morning, all, he says. One more doll. Good morning, Mitch. I'm going to go make me a cup here in California. You've been so sick for 2 weeks. So first 7 weeks. Oh, sorry to hear that. Hope you're feeling better. You must be a little better if you're going to actually join us for some coffee this morning. There you go. And Sandy's here. Hi, Sandy Blythe. Says hit the thumbs up, please. Yes, please do that. B81 Mac. Mac, how are you? Melissa B is here this morning. Good to see you. Oh, I said, oh, there we go. Mac. Mac is here. Melissa B is here. How you doing? And Tina. Tina Schreikerath's with it. Schreikerath. I still have to make a conscious effort to pronounce things right. The default would be to slur. But it's getting better. I think you can hear that my speaking is getting better, more clear. Towards the end of the day, when my energy gets depleted, I slow down. I had a discussion with my therapist about that, and it was interesting. Because he knew the right words and he understood some of the concepts. And here's a guy who is a physical therapist. He's in pretty good shape, but a little chunky, a little, stocky, let's say stocky, but muscular. And he just got his blood work done. And he said to me, I had my blood work done. I said, yeah, how was it? He says, well, My good cholesterol is 220. Oh, I said, okay. I never heard of, you mean your HDL? I said, we've already talked about this. I told you there's no such thing as good cholesterol or bad cholesterol. There is only cholesterol. And LDL and HDL are not cholesterol. They are lipoproteins. They carry cholesterol as a cargo. Biggest misconception in the history of all of the misconceptions about cholesterol and diet, starting with our friend, Ansel Keys. Thank you, Ansel. Well, he said, no, I'm pretty sure he was my good cholesterol. I said, it's impossible. Your total cholesterol, you told me, was around 300. And you told me your HDL was 220. It's impossible. It can't happen. Never happened before. You'd probably die if that was the case. That is your LDL. Your HDL is probably 40 or 50. Because the HDL doesn't carry energy around the body. The HDL job is to scavenge up the empty LDL proteins and return them to the liver, basically. And if that's all your lipoproteins are doing, you die, because no cholesterol, no triglycerides, no nothing would get anywhere in your body that they were needed if your cholesterol was 90% HDL. I said, go back and look at it again. But he did say to me, that's why I think he is not a real student of lipid metabolism, but he did say to me, I said, is it normal? Because you experience all kinds of things recovering from a stroke that you never did. You never did in your life. Never, ever. And one of them is how quickly you get just worn out. And when you get worn out and when you get depleted, you find those limbs that you've been getting control of back, your leg, your arm, they get heavy again. It's harder to lift them. They get more numb. And this happens towards the end of the day. You get a good night's sleep in the morning, everything is flying all over the place again, and it works. And as you go through the day, it gets depleted. And he actually said to me, which I was surprised, by the end of the day, you've pretty well used most of your ATP. I said, you know what ATP is? Well, yes, that's energy. I said, okay, that's good, and you're probably correct. He said, I just want to know if it's normal. And he said, yeah, it's normal. Things are going to be heavier at the end of the day. You get more tired. If you're already tired, it's not a bad time to do some exercises in the face of diminishing ATP, because it just makes you concentrate more and does help. I said, okay, all right. But I was happy to hear that it was normal. And we talked a little bit about ATP. And for those of you who don't know what ATP is, ATP stands for adenosine triphosphate. That's meaningful to most people. Adenosine triphosphate. In each cell of mitochondria, in all the mitochondria in every cell we generate energy to run our organic machinery. And the end result of the Krebs cycle, the electron transport chain, all that stuff that goes on in the cell and in the mitochondria is to end up creating molecules of ATP. The ATP are like the gasoline that runs the motors of everything. And we have proteins that are called motor proteins. They actually create physical movement. How else do you think our muscles can move if something in us isn't creating movement? And it's the most amazing thing to see how they work. They actually have things that walk like this, and they walk along a thing called a microtubule. And that motor protein that does this is responsible for pretty much all of the physical motion that your body does, whether it be your muscles lifting something or in each cell. When a cell divides and the DNA is split apart, the nucleus is split apart into two, and the cell actually begins to divide, and we've seen that under a microscope. It is these motor proteins walking along these microtubules that actually do the pulling, and they're powered by the ATP. So whenever you feel low energy, it means it's something is either running out or your metabolism has slowed down, or you're just using it up faster than you can produce it, which is why distance runners, they have a thing they call hitting the wall. And when that happens, that means they're out of energy. And just like your car, if you're driving it along and runs out of gas, it just stops. Everything in their body just stops and they collapse. There is no more ATP to run those little motor proteins. And then you go back before, said, well, what's the body using to produce this ATP? And that's where we have, well, it's metabolizing sugar or it's metabolizing fat. And but the end result of all of that is this ATP. And I was surprised you heard him tell me that it was ATP. And it was interesting. It was interesting. And I think that since most of the doctors that I met had no idea that all this stuff was going on, I think it's pretty good for all of us to have a basic understanding of how the machinery of the body works and how it gets its power and fuel, because ultimately that it's dictated by what we eat. What we eat, period. And which is why we're carnivores. Anyway, a little rabbit hole. Thought you might find that interesting. Where was I? Carnivore Police is here. Good morning. Good morning from Yorba Linda. Oh, I went by. I breezed right by the winner because we got a late start. Let's go back and see who the winner was. We have Couch Potato at 9:29 and the birthday girl, Aaron Booby Goats, first in at 9:30. Congratulations, sweetie. Are you having some kind of a live stream event on your channel on May 6th? If you are, put it in the chat, let everybody know, and maybe send me an email. Let me know so I don't miss it. All right, where were we? Bayman Golf, I got that. Tina, Carnivore Police. There we are. We're back to where I was. Michael Pregler's here. Hi, I'm Michael. How you doing? Terry Sue, luckily I accidentally found this. I'm glad you did. I promise I'll try not to do it again. I can't promise you I won't do it again, but I can promise you not to try to do it again. That's about it. Always got to leave that little room for error. I learned that from weathermen. Weathermen never say it's 100% chance of anything. They always leave themselves that little out, little tiny out. Only if a hurricane is bearing down on you do they dare take the chance and say 100% chance of rain. And even then, there may be some place where the rain actually doesn't come, and people say, you were wrong. Robert Warren, good morning, Robert. How you doing? Good to see you, my friend. And T. Mitchell, yay, I'm making you making a live. Yeah, good to see you. Good morning. And your last name and my first name are the same. Princess Mom is here. Good morning, Mitch, and all my Carnivore family. And let me take the time right now to plug my Buy Me a Coffee, or you can save it up for my birthday. In fact, save it up for my birthday. That would be nice. Presents are accepted. They always told me, they told me when I was a kid, now, Mitch, I said, what? They say, Mitch, you are a gifted child. And it's true. I went to a special school for gifted children. I have an IQ. astronomical. I won't brag about it. Sometimes I think it's a curse, but because you overanalyze everything, and all you do is spend the entire day in your head trying to figure shit out. But they told me I was a gifted child, and I looked at them in all seriousness, and I asked them where are my gifts? Because I thought that's what they meant when I first heard that term, gifted child. I immediately thought of a birthday, birthday presents. So I'm certainly not above accepting birthday gifts. That's a subtle hint. That's a subtle hint. Oh. Sandy says, yesterday is my grandson's 19th birthday. Wow. That's about the same age as my grandson 2 days ago just had his 21st birthday. It's so scary. My oldest grandson just is graduating from college this weekend. And my son and his family and his sister are all driving up to Georgia, where he goes to school, to attend the graduation. It can be gone all weekend. My youngest grandson is just starting college. And my granddaughter, who's in the middle, age-wise, I think is a junior now. But that's about the age that it's great. The kids will be very happy when they're all done with college and they're done paying for that. I'm sure they'll be very happy. But and Aaron says, happy birthday to Sandy's grandson. So let's see, is there anybody else here? Go ahead and put some QQQs in there if you have some questions for me or anything you want to talk about, or you want me to talk about. Attendance is a little slow today. Probably my fault. Putting this thing up late. Not reminding people the day before. But the replays will be there. So I have to, again, keep trying not to do that again. Scotter's here, says, happy birthday, Mitch. Thank you, Scotter. Thank you so much. And I did get an email about something here. Let's see what. Jane bought me a coffee. Thank you, Jane. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Good morning, Mitch. Thank you for all you do. You are super appreciated. Jane, so are you. Thank you very much, sweetie. I like to acknowledge those things when they happen. Sometimes I miss them. Lad is here. Good morning, Lad. How are you doing? I'm up to 9:38 in the chat, about 20 minutes behind. Princess says, we're talking about the fish. Maybe wild-caught pollock pretending to be crab. Yeah, I say that's a possibility. Never dismiss what might be the actual truth about the thing. But it was just like an oxymoron. Wild-caught imitation crab. You suppose the fishermen who are out there wild catching are thinking we're going out fishing for imitation crab today? I don't think so. Yeah, Tiny, probably right. Real fish, then they add sugar. Oh, if they can't figure out a way to adulterate food, make it more addictive, why bother at all? Here's somebody, a name I don't recognize, Pat DeArmond. Good morning, Mitch. Good morning, Coffee with Mitch. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Break is here. I am itchy building some duct work. Oh my God, I know what you mean. You gotta wear long sleeves. That stuff, that fiberglass stuff gets on you. It's just like hell. Good luck, Rick. Happy birthday from Patty Molden. Oh, look at this name from Germany. Penelope Pitstop 50. Holy mackerel. Guten Tag. Wie geht's? It's a little German I still remember from the 2 years I spent over there when I was in the service, but that was 55 or so years ago. Just Susie's thoughts. Hi, Mitch. You're looking chipper. Great to see you. I was yelling down the hall to my hubby about wild-caught imitation growlies. Yes. There are some very talented people making memes. Some of these memes are an absolute riot. I love them. And Kitchen Witch says to Penelope, Prosit. I love it. That means cheers. That's one of the toasts when they go and lift a glass over there in Germany. Some of those glasses they lift weigh a ton, those huge 1 liter beer mugs. And then you see these waitresses in the big beer tins. They carry 8 of them in each hand. This is some strong women. Smokey Bear Lovers here. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Yeah, I remembered Chris Wayne. Yes, down under the land of Oz. Still don't see the first QQQ in here. I guess one Friday we don't have inquiring minds. Jason H., how you doing this morning, my friend? I don't really have any heavy-duty subjects to get into. No lectures this morning other than a brief little explanation of one thing or another. Rick says, every time I install a new air conditioner, I have to deal with this. Yeah, of course. You'd think they'd be, hey, listen, they used to use asbestos and that stuff. At least they don't do that to us anymore. But you think they'd come up with some kind of fiberglass that didn't itch, and it's tiny little fibers that get stuck in your skin and itch. You think they maybe come up with a way to weave it where that all the ends of those tiny little fibers weren't sticking straight up where they stick in you? Lad says, I used to try to teach medical students that stuff. They were not interested. Microtubules, AMP, ADP, ATP, absolutely. They don't want to know. It has no relevance to them. Making money and writing prescriptions and following the standard of care, which evidently they tell them that's what the practice of medicine is before they even start learning it. So I figure, why bother? That's like going to college to become an architect and having to take an English lit course to satisfy the criteria of the curriculum. And you say to yourself, this is useless to me. I have no use for this in my field of study. I don't care. And you don't pay attention. And I think it's how doctors think about biochemistry. They think it's not their job to be a biochemist. It's their job, like the drug companies are telling them, to know any excuse and every excuse that they can dig up to actually prescribe these drugs to a human being who may or may not need them, but let's find an excuse, like put you on a statin if your LDL is over 100. How absurd and harmful. But that's the practice of medicine. And nothing to do with reality, has something to do with organic chemistry and the way the body actually works. It's just about being a salesman. They're worse than used car salesmen. The worst that could happen with a used car salesman is you get a lemon of a used car. When you get these doctors playing drug salesmen, the worst that could happen is they kill you or you suffer for the rest of your life. And we look up to these people. Patty Armand says, I am now educated about ATP. I always learn something new from you. Thank you. And it's a fascinating thing. And If you ever get a chance to learn about what's called the electron transport chain or oxidative phosphorylation, which is the process, there are 5 different steps that take acetyl-CoA and turn it into HTP. One of the enzymes and catalysts between some of these steps is a compound called ubiquinone. Ubiquinone. And without that, and ubiquinone is the name for something that we've all heard of in advertisements high and low. Coenzyme Q10. CoQ10. We've all heard you need CoQ10, it does this, it does that. Well, what CoQ10 does in the mitochondria in every cell in your body is facilitate the production of ATP in the electron transport chain. So yes, it's extremely important. But these things have names that nobody recognizes. So sometimes if somebody says ubiquinone, most people say, I don't know what the hell that is. That's CoQ10. And it's fascinating there's tons of literature to just read about it, see the different steps, the 4 complexes that process this stuff before it gets to, step number 5, the ATP synthase protein, which has actually got a motor in it, and it actually spins. And it creates the final ATP molecule. It's an incredibly complex, and it's just one of many, and certainly not even the most complex organic chemical process that we have in our cells. Studying cellular biology is like exploring a whole world of things that happen in each cell. It is so fabulous. It's life. It is the basis of our life. The life of a cell is life. So just read a little bit of cellular biology. Watch some of the new full motion animations of how all this stuff goes on. I put a few of them out there in some of my videos that are fabulous, that show the little motor proteins walk along the microtubules. If that doesn't fascinate you, curiosity is not in your makeup. But for people who are curious and fascinated and want to sit in awe about how we actually work as a living thing at a scale so small, it's not to be believed. We have 1 trillion or more cells in our body. Think about the size of this. The complexity of it down at a molecular level. So small it can't even be seen under a microscope. It's a fabulous thing. I find it fascinating. That's why I keep reading this stuff. But it explains a lot. And then it also explains why the doctors keep prescribing stuff not only you don't need, but that make matters worse for you because they're just glorified used car salesmen doing real damage. Any questions? Wow. Nobody wants to know anything this morning. Sandy says, my grandson attends college in Georgia. Yeah, my grandson went to Emmanuel, played lacrosse. He's very athletic. Don Wage says, yo, from Wisconsin. B81 Max says, May 7th is also Nina Teicheltz's birthday. Wow. I can only observe so many brilliant people born on May the 7th. Oh, okay, Rick is almost out of the woods. He's almost done taping it and going to apply mastic. I know what that means. Rick, being a general contractor like I've been, yes, Tchaikovsky, like I said, was May the 7th. Yeah, well, 1 out of every 365 people in the world has May the 7th as their birthday, pretty much. Think about that. There's only, well, there's maybe 366 if you count leap year, but February 29th. But there's you have a one in 365 shot of being born on May the 7th. So there's, out of 10 billion people, there's a hell of a lot of people born on May the 7th. That's for sure. Here's a question from Aaron. While fasting, I keep forgetting to take my electrolytes. I rarely take them, but I've almost fainted a few times, a little concerning. I wonder if it's an electrolyte. It could be, very well. My thing is leg cramps. If I lay off my electrolytes for a while, I'm just not getting enough in the food I'm eating. It's just obvious to me because the cramps come back. If I make sure to get a good dose of electrolytes every day, I hardly ever get leg cramps at night. And the cramps only come at night. God, do they hurt. I used to be able to jump out of bed, hobble around on and they would resolve real quickly. But now, with the stroke thing, I'm not hopping out of bed so fast. So it'll wake me up in the middle of the night. And it's not pleasant. Not pleasant. That's possible. That's possible. It could be electrolytes. When's the last time? There are certain levels of certain things that you really need. And the fat-soluble vitamins, vitamin A, vitamin D, things like that are easy to check with blood work. So that's a good use for blood tests. I don't think checking your lipid metabolism, your LDL and HDL and all that is as important as finding out if you need to supplement something that you might not be getting in your food. But if you almost pass out, it could be a number of things. Your blood sugar may be plummeting. You may not be making enough ATP. And God knows how many other things. Ask a neurologist that knows something. But electrolytes is a possibility. Electrolytes, potassium, magnesium, and sodium, are what keep your electrical system going, and your electrical system is what keeps your heart and your nerves going. So yes, it's very important. Very important. She says, my mom told me to take my electrolytes. Yeah. And if you remember the movie Idiocracy, for those of you that remember that movie, Mike Judge's movie from 30-something years ago, where we go 500 years into the future into dystopia of ignorance, they didn't even have water. They had a thing called Brondo. Brondo was like Gatorade. You could tell it was Gatorade from the logo and the lettering. And the entire population thought that was and of course it was, you had to buy it. And Brondo, the company, was probably huge. And they kept saying, drink Brondo. It's got electrolytes. And every time they mentioned Brondo, somebody would say, yeah, it's got electrolytes. So from that alone, it must be important. Look at this cool name. You can be carnivore too. I like that. Morning, Mitch. Morning, welcome. Terry Sue is giving some advice to Aaron. I'd add the electrolytes. Don't forget. It's easy to say don't forget, and then you forget. I've been guilty of that myself. Hey, Chris Hope. Hi, Chris. Well, Joan Buddy from Texas. How you doing, my friend? I'm doing better, and good to see you. Good to see you in here. What time are you in here? 10:05. 10 minutes ago. You may still be here. Good to see you. Uh, Chris texts me every year on my birthday. So, coming up. Two things I can count on. A text from Chris and Bob Casey, and, well, three things I can count on. And a phone call from my sister. Well, Booby Light says, Aaron, maybe hydration too. That's possible. And we all have a built-in test to see if we're dehydrated or overhydrated. And that is looking at your pee. I know that looking at our bodily waste isn't a fun thing to do, but there's a lot of clues in there. That's why urinalysis is so important. But visually, if it's a dark yellow color, you're dehydrated. If it's crystal clear, like water, you're getting too much water. Simple. Simple. We got a built-in measuring indicator to tell us whether we're properly hydrated or not. So I know it's no fun to peek into the toilet, especially if you've been sitting on it and have to stand up and take a look. But you can learn more about how your body's working sometimes by looking in the toilet bowl than all the blood tests put together. And it's free, and it's private, and it doesn't get written anywhere in your permanent record. That's one thing I've noticed about the therapy that I'm taking. The therapists have to, let's just say, check boxes. The paperwork they have to do is enormous. The questions that they have to answer about every survey, everything they do, just fills up databases full of details about you. The VA does it. The therapists do it. The doctors do it. The hospitals do it. And they're building enormous databases of intricate detail on these questions. Everything from your mental, whether you're depressed or not, suicidal or not, to how you view your sex life. It's all there. And I noticed that yesterday, my occupational therapist was here with a tablet in her lap. And the whole time she was here, she never stopped fooling with the tablet, writing, checking box. And I said, what the hell are you doing? He said, well, I've got to either do this here or do it after I get home. And it could take and it usually takes an hour. So I just do it while we're talking and during the therapy to get it out of the way. And I said, well, what kind of questions? And she started reading off some of the things she had to answer. And it is very invasive indeed. So be careful. It's almost too late for privacy. Sandy Blythe says, Mitch, I mentioned this last night. Yes, I'm going to try this afternoon to drive to the post office to pick up a package that was sent to me the day I had my stroke. And it's been sitting in the post office ever since. Hope it's still there, I imagine. That's 2 months ago. Robert Warrist, I think, sent it to me. I may be mistaken, but I'll find out for sure when I go get it. I'm going to film it, my little adventure, because this is really my first mission, other than drive around the neighborhood once, to get in the car and go do something like a normal person does, a chore. I should be fine. I'll have the walker when I get to the other end. It's not too far to walk into the post office, get the little package, walk back, get back in the car, and drive home. But I'm going to do it. I'm hoping I'll be able to do it this afternoon if nothing else comes up. After this is done, I've got to eat, and then I'm going to go do that, and I'll keep the cameras running and edit it later, and probably release it tomorrow as a video if I do it. So look out for that. That'll be fun. Thanks for asking. I'm a little tense about it, but I do not think the driving is not the problem. The problem is always what you do to get to the car, go do your thing, get back to the car, and get home. It's not the driving in the car. That's easy. There's no effect on. This thing has had no effect on my ability to drive. My footwork, both my legs work great. My hands are working more than adequate to steer the thing. So I'm not worried about that. It's navigating around out there in the world where there's always that risk of a fall. That's the scariest thing about this. At my age, you do not want to fall. Lad says, Mitch, do you watch Bart K? He's hilarious using biochemistry as a weapon to discipline vegans. Bart is a unique individual. And I think Bart is right I think he's very knowledgeable about biochemistry, as is Richard Smith, if you've ever watched him from England. These guys know the name of everything, every buzzword, every key phrase. Bart's got a great grasp of, overall grasp of biochemistry. He was supposedly a professor in that field. He's had an illustrious and checkered career. I don't know. He's a funny guy, kind of like me, has a sense of humor and tries to inject it into to try to make the mundane subject of talking about biochemical pathways a little more. But Bart does something that I don't do, and that is react to all the idiocy that comes out of on some of these vegan channels, and that's kind of the root of his popularity, is the fact that he's like a hired gun to shoot them down. But yeah, I like Bart. I appeared with him on the show well over a year ago. It's a pretty good interview, I think. But I really don't watch him very much anymore, and certainly haven't talked to him ever since. I was on his channel with him. But that's out there. You can type in the YouTube chat bar, OldGuyCarnivore, and the words Bart K. And that video, me on his channel, probably pop right up there. And watch it. But as usual, Bart had trouble getting a word in edgewise, which always seems to happen when I go on with anybody, which is why sometimes I think when I go on solo, I've got always find something to say. So it's maybe a better forum for me. Kitchen, which Tanya asked a lot if you ever watched Ken Carnivore. Ken's one of my favorites. He's a good guy. Good guy. Had a lot of horrible things happen to him, but makes good videos, and he also likes to trash the vegans. I don't want to create any conflict. I don't want to be in arguments. I don't want to debate these guys. It's not my job to constantly have to prove I'm right. I tell you what I do. I tell you how it works for me. You decide if I'm right or not. And then whether you want to believe me or not. And if you like what the vegans say better than me, then be a vegan. I have no personal stake in it, basically, other than you're in my audience, and I'll let you make your mind up there. Oh, we have Huang is here this morning. Good to see you. 10 ounce of prime cake Wednesday night. I've been full ever since. Now that I'm carnivore, I'm shocked. Yeah. But don't make sure you don't eat too little food, my friend. You have to make sure you eat enough food, or you will pay the price by your metabolism slowing down. Your body will think, even if you're not all that hungry, that maybe The hunt failed. Ellen is here. Good morning, Ellen. How are you? Good to see you. Juan likes to ask a lot of questions. At many of the formal colleges and schools that teach nutrition or certified people who should teach the core, no. Nope. No. No. The medical establishment would not have that. The big agriculture, big food, and big pharma would not allow the message that the carnivore diet is healthy to get out there if there's anything they can do to stop it. And certainly, teaching nutritionists is the one way that they get to perpetuate the bullshit that is our current dietary advice. Criminal, we talk about that all the time. But forget it. There is no carnivore university. We're trying. Right now, Carnivore University is YouTube. Somebody says it's possible that overconsumption of coffee. Well, what is? Yeah, I've heard that. When does it become overconsumption? I drink 1 to 2 cups of coffee a day. That to me is just consumption. If I drank 10 cups a day, yeah, I would think maybe there'd be some adverse effects from that. But that's a good point. And I like Nelson. I think Nelson is a good guy. And good friend, too. He and Kelsey, both. Mama Bear is here, admitting she's late. Good morning. This did not show me. Yeah, I didn't get it up there till too late. So I'm paying the price today. We got 130 people, but I want to see 1,000 people come to my birthday live stream. Would be something, wouldn't it? Pamela Suarez is here. Hi, Pamela. How you doing? I want to say hi to people that I hadn't seen. Spanky is here. I think I said hi to you already. Sean Connolly. Should be transparent yellowish. Yes. We were talking about the color of your urine. You should have a little yellow tinge. It's okay. When it's clear, you're drinking too much. So this business is about you have to drink 8 big glasses of water a day. Well, if you weigh 98 pounds, that might not be true for you. And if you weigh 400 pounds, it might not be enough for you. You can't make a blanket statement like that. Everybody should drink 8 glasses of water a day. Can't do it. We're all different. Ellen, started up a storm. Good to see you here, Ellen. Robert Stanton is here. Hi, Robert. How you doing? The last time when I'm asked about my sex life, I said, "Are you asking for yourself or a friend?" I like that. That's good. That's good. Yeah, when I go into the VA, they've got a list of nonsense. I can understand why with veterans they're concerned about depression, PTSD, suicidal thoughts, things like that. That I understand. And I answer them. And sometimes by joking around, I got to be careful. It's like joking about a bomb on an airplane. Sometimes they say, have you ever thought about killing yourself? I say, not me, but there was this driver on the highway this morning. You know, and they're liable, some of these idiots are liable to take you seriously. He wants to kill people. Yeah, that's all I need. So, just kidding. Don't write that down. It's tough to be funny without getting in trouble these days. People have no senses of humor. Especially people who work for the government. We have Julia Wigger. How you doing? Good to see you from over in the United Kingdom. The Bermuda guy is here. Hi, Bermuda guy. How are you? Wow, we got all the way to 10:30 already. And where am I? 10:21. All right, I'm going to try to catch up and look for some more questions. If I don't see too many or many people I haven't said hi to, we'll call it a morning. I did. I got there. I'm at the bottom of the chat, 10:29. Pamela Suarez says, hi, Mama Bear. Tanya says, and schnitzels and goulash and strudels. I must have missed the beginning of that conversation. Jevitt series, I'm late, didn't see it this morning. Yeah, it's my fault. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't realize I hadn't created the live stream and the thumbnail until 8:30 this morning. I'm sorry. My next morning coffee is going to be Sunday morning. I promise that I will try with all my heart to remember. I should set a reminder. Although my phone goes ding so often, I hate to add anything to it. To remind me the night before any of these live streams, create the live stream. Maybe I'll do that, make it a recurring task, and we'll see if that does it. It's only the second or third time I've forgotten anyway. I've had a lot of live streams, so I usually remember. So that's it. I'm down at the bottom of the chat. We're going to keep this one to an hour, which is what it's supposed to be, but it never seems to work out that way because I get going, I get talking, a rabbit hole appears before me, and I have to dive in it, try to figure it out. Tanya says, I'm going postal today. That's funny. Yeah, wish me luck. I'm gonna do it. I'll film it so you guys can see. I haven't. Making videos is a lot of work, and editing and everything, a lot of computer work, and I've been trying to do it, but it's not like I used to put one on every day. The live streams are easier for me to do. I don't have to pre-plan and think and film and edit and do all that stuff. It's just what you see is what you get. But I do want to make videos now. I made a number of videos about the stroke recovery. But I can't keep doing that. It gets boring for me. It's going to get boring for you. I can tell by the view count. It gets less and less with each video I make. But when something monumental happens, that's worthy of a video, then I'll make it. My channel has suffered because of this. Certainly, revenue. Now, it's important to me, but not as important to me as recovering from the stroke and just getting back to things. So when I got something that I think you'll find interesting, we'll put it out there. Otherwise, I'll be doing plenty of these live streams to interact with you guys. And hopefully you throw me a coffee once in a while. Let me play a little happy music. Yes, sir. Say goodbye to your friends in the chat. I will sip the last vestiges of this cup of coffee. Star 13, May 8th, great-grandchild turned 1-year-old. Lori saying goodbye. Bermuda guy says this is good for all of us. Thanks, Mitch. Rick is here. Thanks. Catch you Sunday. Yes, sir. I hope you're there. And have a good live stream Saturday morning, Rick. Charger Mopar, Saturday morning. And maybe into the afternoon. He's been known to go hours. Have a good time. Pamela Suarez saying goodbye. Aaron saying goodbye. Tapping the Torch likes the music. Sharon McCabe says bye. Terry Sue says bye. Mike Silly Sr. says bye. Jemmett says bye all until Sunday. So that's about it. This is about to end. So Go to the last bit of the music. Here it comes. Yes, sir. Now you know what you all can do. You can take the rest of the day off and eat meat.